All right, gamers, it is time for the Mario Kart tier list. I am so excited. I love Mario. I love Mario so much. Oh yeah. All right. Motherfucking what is Mario Kart Stadium? All right, this track fucking sucks. I mean it's fine, but like, god damn, is it boring? I don't know. It's not really a great introductory track, in my opinion. I kind of like the aesthetic, but the track's pretty fucking boring. It's better than most intros. It's better than Figure Eight Circuit. I'll give it that. All right, motherfucking water park. Yeah, this track's also fucking boring as hell. I kind of like it, but it's just aside from the big like water wheel thing, it's pretty fucking boring. I mean, aesthetically, it's pretty like it's cozy. Like I fuck with this track, but actually playing gameplay wise, there's like one shortcut, and it's not that great. So D tier. All right, Sweet Sweet Canyon. I debate whether or not I like this one or not. A lot of people do. I think I'm in the camp that I just don't care about it. I mean, it has a cool aesthetic. Like I could put it B tier and I'd be content. Like for a mushroom coat track, it's pretty good. Like I love the aesthetic. I like the cannon and the big swirly down the fucking chocolate mountain bullshit. And I like how it splits paths. I think that's pretty cool. But otherwise, gameplay wise, I mean, it's like one cool shortcut with the donut, but I don't know. I don't care about it. So, but it's better than these two fuckers. So I might move some things later. All right, Thwomp Thwomp Ruins. This track actually goes really hard for a fucking mushroom cup. It's kind of like Toad's Factory. Like it's just like holy shit, this is a big step up from the rest of the tracks in this damn cup. Um, Aesthetically, it's pretty cool. Got the whole mountain shit with the thwomps. Has some, I mean, it has some cool shortcuts. Just some you don't even need mushrooms for, which is pretty cool. And I like how it splits paths in the middle of the track. I think it's pretty good. Definitely a step up from these fuckers, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, I love Mario Circuit. Yeah, I mean, okay, it's on the box cover, the Wii U version, so that's kind of cool. It's probably one of the more iconic tracks from the game, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to put it B tier because I feel like it does get kind of intense compared to some other tracks, especially that last ramp to like the fucking finish line. I think I gotta put it C tier. I don't think I can put it any higher. Toad Harbor, this track is fire for where it is in the game. I I like the aesthetic a lot. It looks like San Fran, which is pretty cool. It has some neat alternative paths. I mean, I guess they're shortcuts, but they're not difficult to get to, and they don't really save you a lot of time. Just choices. Um, Really cool track. I like it, but I don't think it's A tier. All right, here we have our first fucking first fucking F tier. Fuck this track. I hate Twisted Mansion. Let's make a mansion and you drive in it for 5 fucking seconds, and you have a 30-second underwater section. Yeah, that's really a mansion track right there. I mean, aesthetically, it's kind of cool, and I like the last glider bit where you could do like sideways. But man, this track is awful. It's just boring. It doesn't use the mansion aesthetic at all. It's like there's a fucking water park, but in 90% of it, you're in a fucking desert. It's like, what? Right. A lot of people like Shotgun Falls. I'm in the camp. It's just okay. It's better than C tier, but it's not. It just doesn't reach A for me. Pretty cool layout. I like the waterfall chunk, but other than that, I don't really think that's memorable. I don't really care for the aesthetic either. It doesn't interest me. All right, we got a first fucking A tier. I love Sunshine Airport. Pretty cool track. Has some really fun drifting. Listen, I'm number one North America Mario Kart comp player. Uh, so like when I'm looking at tracks, I'm usually in first place. I'm just looking at is it fun when there's like no items fucking my shit up. And I think Sunshine Airport fulfills that criteria of it's just pretty fun layout, a lot of cool drifting and shit. Aesthetically, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's a whole fucking airport track. I think it's the only one in the series. Pretty good. I think it's an A tier. I think we're also bringing in another fucking A tier. Dolphin Shoals. It's pretty fucking cool. Mainly underwater. Has some really fun shortcuts, especially that big ass eel and the whole I don't even know what you call it. Like the shit that's pushing you up, the air bubbles or whatever, the vents, let's call it that. Vents of air. It looks pretty cool. Also, the guy in the sax on the soundtrack goes fucking beast mode. I'm not gonna factor soundtrack for a lot of these, but I'm gonna mention it where I remember. So, solid A tier. I am not the biggest fan of this track compared to a lot of people. I think it's kind of just okay, really cool aesthetic, but I don't think it gameplay wise is as good as it could be. Also, a lot of people pronounce the name wrong. It's Electrodrome, not Electrodome. Um, I like where it splits past in the green and pink. That's kind of cool. But other than that, nothing else stands out aside from the cool rave going on. It's pretty funny. All right, first S tier. I fucking love Mount Wario. This track is awesome. I mean, it's pretty much everything you want in a Mario Kart track. Cool theme, a lot of cool paths, shortcuts, pretty interesting visuals going from the mountain to what the dam and the forest and then the Olympics. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I quite enjoy the track. I think it's one of the best they've done in the series. It's one of the few where it's the three segments, not three laps, which I think adds to it, makes it a lot more exciting to play on. Feels like a journey. Yeah, Cloudtop Cruise. I mean, it's cool. It's Mario Galaxy theme. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not really the biggest fan of that game, controversial opinion, but I think it's nice when they base some things on older games and reference them. I mean, it's an okay track, but I don't know. It's uh, I don't know. Let's make sure I'm still recording. I am still recording. Good. Um, so I'm doing this shit in one take. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean it's an okay track, but I like the lightning section. That's pretty cool. I like some of the small shortcuts with the beanstalks or whatever the hell you want to call them. It's pretty neat, but not that great. This is another controversial take. I actually kind of like Bone Dry Dunes. A lot of people don't because it's a desert track, and that's fine. But again, I think some of the movement on it, some of the move, like just the drifting and shit, that's mainly what I look for. Like, how can I combo this in? Like, is it fun to play on? I feel like Bone Dry Dunes is, but I can see why a lot of people don't like that, and I don't think it's the greatest track in the game. But I'm biased a bit. I kind of like it because it's tough. All right. Oh, this big controversial take. Bowser's Castle on this game fucking sucks. One of the weaker ones in the series, in my opinion. I mean, it's just not memorable. Like, there's fire, there's some gliding sections. That's about it, really. I mean, I just don't think it's one of the greater efforts. The Bowser Castle Land. I mean, it's better than the one from Seven, but that's not saying a lot. Rainbow Road from this game. Okay, a lot of these things are gonna be weighted around B, C tier because that's how I feel a lot of these tracks land. I feel like it'd be stupid just putting them all over the place. Like I could put Rainbow Road in A, but I don't think this is one of the better ones in the series. It's pretty cool. It has a space station shit, and I'll give it that. But playing on it, I don't really think it's as challenging as Rainbow Road should be, in my opinion. It's a good one, but it's not the best one. All right, Moo Moo Meadows. You can't put it any higher than a C tier. I know I'll get crucified for that, but it's a good track. Looks cool. Mushroom. What the fuck is it called? Is it the Shell Cup? I don't give a shit. The first retro track in the game. I mean, it's cool. I like the most of the Wii tracks they brought back, but this track is not challenging at all. I like the shortcuts near the end with the glider and the stupid moles flying out and shit. All right, good old GBA Mario Circuit. It's a fun time, but really, it's not terribly interesting. It's just a racetrack aesthetic, it's a circuit course. I like the funny grabby things referencing Nintendo's time making toys and shit, lifting out the track. That's really creative. And it makes it feel a lot more exciting to play on compared to if it was just flat on the ground. Something interesting, this was the only Game Boy Advance track in the game at launch, which I think is an odd choice they picked this instead of well what they would have later done, like Rainbow Road, Cheese or Ribbon Road, Cheese Land, fucking Sunset Wild, just like I feel like it would have been better to pick that, but this is the only one they got, and at the very least, not a bad choice. All right, I love Cheap Cheap Beach. This track is cozy as hell. I'm not the biggest fan of Mario Kart DS, but it is some pretty damn good tracks, and I think this is one of them. Really simple, but I like the underwater shit it does. I think it's pretty fun. Um, Not much else to say. Easy track, but it's better than a C. It's memorable. This is also probably another controversial take. I know a lot of people don't like Turnpike. The N64 version is fucking awful because you have pretty much 3 fucking feet of room to drive on. And that's about it. The trucks are absolutely massive compared to you. They will fuck your shit up. In this, they made the track a lot wider and the trucks a lot smaller, along with some that you could trick off of, which makes it a lot more interesting gameplay wise. You can also what's it, fucking anti-gravity shit on the side, which is pretty cool. Makes it a little more exciting. Again, a lot of people don't like it. I like this track. I think it's fun, especially when you got the squad on the game. This track will fuck your shit up. All right, Dry Dry Desert, man. The GameCube got some bad representation of Mario Kart 8, even with the DLC. I still think Nintendo didn't really come out swinging, which is fine. They can save shit for Mario Kart 9 for all I care, as long as it's a fucking awesome game, but I'll have to wait and see. I like it better than the original. I think they took out the stupid fucking plant thing that eats you in the middle of that like quicksand shit, the vortex. I think they took that out, but I haven't played Double Dash as much as other people have, so comparing the two is not going to be easy for me. But I do like the Oasis part they put in. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's just that the track isn't really that exciting to play on. It has some neat shortcuts, but otherwise, it's I can't put it any higher than C. Maybe a controversial placing. I really like Donut Plains 3. I was my third eye was awakened when it came to this track, and I realized you can drive underwater. And there's some cool shortcuts like above where my mouse is. You could just cut a couple seconds off and get the edge of some people that honestly just might not even realize it's there because it's a SNES track. They're basic, but I do think this was a good pick. This is also where I saw someone boosting someone on the Wii U version, cheating, blowing people up with bob-ombs just to stall them so their friend could win and grind out fucking, I don't know, Elo. So I always had that funny memory associated. I think it's a pretty good track, but it's not even close to A tier. Royal Raceway, yeah, another B tier. They took out more Peach's Castle, so that's an L. That's been talked to death, but I mean it's fine. Has some cool turns, especially on 200. I like the big glider section, but other than that, it's not that memorable. A lot of the N64 tracks, in my opinion, have not aged as well compared to some of the other 3D tracks. I debate whether I want to put DK Jungle A tier or B tier because I'm a little biased to the 3DS. I love 7, and I played the fuck out of that as a kid, and so it's kind of hard for me. It's like I kind of want to put DK Jungle A. It has some fun splitting paths, some neat shortcuts, but I don't think it quite reaches the epicness that is these two. So I think it's going to stay in B. By the way, these are not ranked. Like this Mario Kart Stadium is not better than Dry Dry Desert. These rankings don't matter here. It's just saying they all sit around the same spot. I'm just doing it chronologically from first track to last track. All right, this might be a controversial take, but I really like Wario Stadium. Yeah, it has some fun anti-gravity shit, cool underwater shit. Has some fun tricks. I mean, it's a stadium, so you get a lot of neat little hazards to deal with, which I think makes the track a lot more interesting than others. Um, Controversial take maybe, but that's how I feel about it. Yeah, again, on launch, I'm pretty sure these were the only two GameCube tracks in the game, and yeah, Nintendo really messed with these two, in my opinion. It's fine having one lesser track, but having both is kind of pathetic, in my opinion. Um, has ice, has a really nice underwater section they added. I appreciate that because I feel like most people would agree that Sherbet Land from the GameCube, like the original version, is kind of the weak. It's probably the weakest track from that game. And I think they made it better. It's aesthetically pleasing, has some nice alternate paths, but yeah, I don't think it's that great. Do I want to move Dry Dry Desert down a tier? Because I think Sherbet Lane is better. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna leave it here for now. Maybe I'll come back later. All right, Music Park, easiest S tier of my fucking life. I love music. I love Mario Kart 7. Track has some really fun hazards to deal with, and uses the music theme perfectly. Um, awesome track. 3DS had one of the greatest lineups of Nitro tracks. There really are no misses from that game. Music Park is definitely one of the greatest. I'm glad they brought it back for the base game. All right, Yoshi Valley. I kind of want to move this to C, but I don't know. The problem for me is I know the layout of the tracks. I'm going to take the same route every single time, the shortest possible route. So it plays out the exact same every time because I want to win. I'm a gamer. I don't like losing. So taking other paths is just not interesting to me. But I still do think it's a good track. Just I don't think it's aged as well. Again, N64 tracks I feel like have been a bit weak um, as time goes on. But this is still a great track. Visuals are great, music's great, but not not really one of the better ones. All right, TikTok clock. This track's fucking gas. Looks awesome. I mean, seriously, when this shit dropped in 2014, I'm like, man, this track looks incredible. And the Wii U is a piece of shit, so it's incredible that it ran on that piece of garbage. Um, really fun hazards. Some nice layout. I love the references to, Mario 64. I love when they base tracks on older games. Really cool. Um, I don't have much else to say about it, but great track. Good pick. All right, another bias here. Do I want to put an A? I think I'm gonna. Fuck. I don't know. I really like. Nah, I'm biased. I love Piranha Plant Slide so much. What was the original version? Piranha fucking. Oh, never mind. I think this using the 3DS name. Piranha Plant Slide is the original. I think the eight versions Piranha Plant Pipeway. Weird that they changed it, but yeah, this track's awesome. Underwater most of the time, based on the underground stages from the OG 2D Marios. Um, looks great. Has some fun obstacles to deal with. One of my favorite tracks. It's the first track I ever played from Seven, so I'm biased as fuck, but I think it's hold up really well, and I can argue it being an S tier any day of the fucking week. Controversial pick, but that's just my opinion. Grumble Volcano kind of fell off. Not one of the greater tracks from Wii. It was probably most remembered for that stupid, stupid shortcut you do at the beginning and beat the track in like 10 fucking seconds. But the actual track itself, I mean, it has some fun obstacles, but it's really not that great. It's kind of forgettable, if I'm being honest. I forget it's in the game a lot of the time. Not one of the better Wii tracks they could have gone with, but you know, you can't always pick the greatest tracks because eventually you'll just end up with a complete dog shit. Rainbow Road from N64, not three laps, that's an L. But visually it's great, and the remix of the song music is awesome. Um, but it feels a little short because they split it into segments instead, so it only clocks out maybe just under 2 minutes, maybe. So not all that exciting. Again, maybe it's a controversial pick for B tier, but hey, that's how I feel. Again, S tier is like these tracks are incredible. A is like these tracks are pretty damn good. B is like these are all around good tracks. They're fun. And then C is where it's like kind of forgettable, kind of average. And then D down to F is like these are garbage. Like have a lot of problems. This is like borderline unplayable. And this is like actual garbage. We're not going to have a lot of these down here because thank God the track selection in this game is really good. All right, Yoshi Circuit. I think I gotta drop Fat A tier. GameCube finally got one good track in this goddamn game. I mean, it's it's hard to describe because it's the shape of the Yoshi, so you're drifting a lot of the time, which I think is really fun. There's a lot of shortcuts you can do. You don't even need mushrooms if you're actually good at the game. 200 cc's track is a blast. It's grown on me a lot over time. I also played a Con Zombies map based on it, which is pretty funny. So I've come to like Yoshi Circuit quite a lot. It's not as good as the GameCube version, but it's still like great pick, my opinion. There's A tier. I really used to like Excitebike Arena, but the people I've spoken, yeah, honestly, the track's kind of boring. You just go in a circle. There's some variation. I think the track changes each time, not by a lot, but it makes it a little more exciting on replays. But it's really not that great. I I liked it as a reference to some of Nintendo's older first party franchises, but other than that, it doesn't really do much for me. I used to like Dragon Driftway a lot more, but man, this track is forgettable. But what gives it the edge of the layout is actually pretty damn good, and there's some fun gameplay when you're not getting your ass blown up by blue shells. Um, referenced, I think Mario Galaxy 2. Again, love when they do that, but otherwise, I don't know. I don't feel like the track is as good. It does. I don't think it deserves A tier, in my opinion. Huge. This is a huge controversial statement. Mute City, I don't know. A cool reference to F-Zero, but other than that, I think the track's kind of boring. Um, I like how they integrate, what is it, from F-Zero, the thing where maybe it gives you speed. I'm not really familiar with F-Zero, I'm gonna be honest, but it gives you coins instead. That's pretty cool. And there's some neat shortcuts, but other than that, kind of forgettable in my opinion. Probably controversial, but that's how I feel. Uh, think I like the Wii version more. I don't think Warriors Goldmine is held up as well as other Wii tracks, but aesthetically it's still pretty cool. Gameplay wise, not a lot going on. I mean, there's some cool design features, some neat turns, minimal shortcuts, which is I like when there's options. But this track, it's kind of cool that you race on the minecart tracks with mainly no railings. Yeah, I don't know. It's gotta go B tier for me. I can't justify putting it any higher. I think that's a pretty reasonable take. Um, this might be a controversial take. I think SNES Rainbow Road is fucking awesome. It's better than the one from this fucking game. Great layout. There's no no barriers. I like how the thwomps shake the road compared to the other versions. Visually, it looks great. I think gameplay wise, it's pretty awesome, especially on 200. And I think um, just like online, it is chaos with a full, you know, stack of 12 people. It is a clusterfuck, and it's pretty hard in my opinion to maintain first a lot of the time. Um, Great track, a classic, probably the best SNES track out there. I used to like Ice Outpost a lot, which I think is controversial, but now I kind of realize, yeah, this track's fucking boring. I really like, that there's an alternating paths, but they don't mean much. There's some neat shortcuts. I don't think you need mushrooms for any of them, which is fine, but they don't really gain you a lot, in my opinion. It's sometimes they're pretty risky going for, especially that last one. Yeah, I don't know. Ice stages aren't always aesthetically the most interesting to me. Same with desert courses. I don't think those two have always held up as well as compared to others, but C tier. All right, I'm gonna try burning through these because I got so many tracks left. Holy shit. Hyrule Circuit doesn't use the Zelda theme as well as it could. I like that. The coins are rupees instead, but man, it really does not have a lot going on. I think it's pretty damn boring. It just doesn't use the Zelda theme very well, in my opinion. I think I can't put it any higher than C. Again, probably controversial take. Um, Baby Park, probably controversial again, A tier. Super simple layout, but it is a absolute clusterfuck. I'm glad they got another pretty damn good GameCube track in here. Not as good as the original, but Mario Kart 8 can get hectic with 12 players, which I think adds to it. Like the DS version is fucking awful compared to this, so I think it's still pretty good. Used to like Cheese Land, I don't know. Just the layout's okay, but visually it kind of fits in the desert map thing, so I just don't find it as memorable in my opinion, especially compared to the other GBA track they brought back in the original DLC. This is a great remake though. I appreciate the effort, but I don't know. I don't think the layout's as good as it could be. I think you just gotta sit at sea. I fight with myself on whether I like Wildwoods or not, and I think I'm gonna go with no for this list. It's pretty boring. I don't find it that memorable compared to the other original DLC tracks I could have added. This one was pretty weak. Um, I really don't have much else to add to it. It's just kind of boring. I like the cool fast water section, but it reminds me of Sonic Forces, so therefore it's coming into D tier. Animal Crossing, huge controversial tape. Yeah, this track's fucking boring. Layout is absolutely just mind-numbingly boring to play on. I like the themes, but that change each time. But man, I don't care about them. I think the bells from the games. I don't play Animal Crossing much. Are the coins, which is a nice touch. Otherwise, I don't know. It doesn't really feel like Animal Crossing to me. It just kind of feels like it's there. Uh, I'm tempted to put New Battle City in A, but I think I'm gonna leave it here. Pretty cool track. Not really based on anything that I know of, Mario wise, but looks neat. 3DS tracks. I'm a little biased. It's pretty fun on 200, but otherwise, I don't really think it holds up compared to the A tier tracks. All right, now this track, oh baby, this is a fat A tier, I think. One of the best remakes they've ever done in terms of upgrades. Because man, Ribbon Road on the original Super Circuit was great, but this is just another fucking level. I don't have much else to add, but just great layout, great visuals, and especially on 200 is really fun. I enjoy this one a lot. It's a trickier track compared to others. I used to really like Super Bell Subway, but now I'm a hater. I just think, man, the layout's actually pretty boring. You have the alternating paths, which is fine, but I don't think it holds up as well as it could have. So I'm gonna sit and see it here. Gonna check, make sure shit's recording. Looking good. All right. Big Blue. Some people say this is the best track in the game. I'm gonna say no. I think like, I can still fit an A tier, but another F-Zero track which is great, but it just doesn't really do a lot for me compared. I can't put it in the B. Like I can't justify putting it any lower than A. 'Cause it's a great track. The layout's amazing, but I don't feel a lot of connection to it. I can't justify putting it in an S personally. So 8 here it is. It's also one of the 3 segment tracks, which I think gives it an edge, but otherwise not a lot going on. And now we're at the fucking booster course pass. Man, Wave 1 is awful. It's so bad. This is the first tour track, and man, what a bad way to start out, in my opinion. I don't know when Paris Promenade was added, because admittedly, I did not keep up with tour when it came out. I only played right when it launched, so I don't know if this is one of the first tracks they added, but it sure fucking feels like it. Not a lot going on, but I do really enjoy the third lap flips it, so you're driving against the other racers who are behind you for a little bit. I think that's a great addition, but I hate that they show like barriers that have nothing. I'm like, oh, I can drive through as a shortcut, and no, drags you right back. That pissed me off so much when I first played it. So C tier it is. Um, Listen, I love the 3DS Mario Kart 7, and Toad Circuit does hold some nostalgia for me. Man, what an awful pick for the Booster Course Pass. It looks like shit too. Like, god damn, it looks worse than the 3DS version. Um, really not else to say. It's literally the first track in Mario Kart 7, so it's really basic. Um, Part of me wants to argue it's better than Mario Kart Stadium, but I can't do that. Um, it does hold nostalgia because that's where you would go after every cup and watch the victory celebration. So it has that a bit of iconicism to it, but not a great track. Not even close to any of these, in my opinion. Um, Choco Mountain, I actually think is grown on me a lot. N64 version, fucking awful. DS version, still fucking terrible. But this version is pretty fun. It ended in that gliding section, which is a nice little addition. Not a major change. Visually, I like it a little more because it doesn't look like actual shit, like unironically. But not one of the best N64 tracks, in my opinion. Um, all right, yeah, Coconut Mall. Like this is the easiest S tier of my life. This is still not even the best version of it. This is actually probably the worst version of it. I'm guessing it was in Taurus. I haven't played that, and I imagine it's identical to 8. But holy shit, this is the worst version of it, but it's still S tier. Um, I just think visually it looks a little boring compared to the other 2 versions, and the ending doesn't have the Mii's in the cars, which is goofy because, or I think the Mii's are in the cars. They don't go back and forth across, which is trash. But this is still a great track to add. One of the only good tracks from the first Booster Course Pass. Um, oh man, this track is horrible. This is one of the few I've actually played on tour. And even back then, I'm like, man, this track is fucking boring. I could talk about this track for a fucking hour. I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is unironically like bottom 5 Mario Kart tracks of all time. It's just boring. The track is so wide. There's nothing going on. I just feel like I'm just driving like in a fucking NASCAR game. There's very little obstacles on the tracks, and the road is just wide as fuck. It looks like the highway in fucking LA. Like they just keep adding lanes, and it just gets boring as fuck. I kind of like the end where you go up on like the expressway, I guess. That's kind of neat, but that's about it. It's just such a boring track. I think there's one shortcut in the entire thing. I don't know. I just think they completely miss it this one, which I think is a shame because this is the Tokyo rep from the game. Nintendo is from Japan. You think they'd try a little harder, but no. Absolute fucking garbage. All right. This is going to be a big controversial take, but I adore Shroom Ridge. This is gonna be one of the worst tracks from DS, like when you play DS. But coming back to it, they really spruced this up a bit. The remix for the music is fucking awesome. They kept some of the DS samples in. I'm not gonna count that, but it's just something nice to note. Um, Visually looks great. 200. You're gonna play this on 200 because this is some really fun turns and just a great layout in general. Minimal shortcuts, but the ones they have are nice. Not they don't save you a lot of time, but they're nice options. So this is probably a controversial take, but I love Shroom Ridge. Um, Sky Garden. Um, I think I got to keep the seats here. I just can't put it any higher. I mean, is it better than the rest of these tracks in C? I mean, it has the shortcut at the beginning that actually goes slower than not taking it. And they also fucked up the layout from the original version, which I'm not as big a stickler for, but I feel like you gotta be faithful to some degree, at least in terms of layout. I don't know. I can't really put it in. Can I? I don't know. This is really hard. I want to put it higher, but I just don't think I can. Um, it's still a good track, but it's not one of my go-tos. So this might also be a really controversial take. Ninja Hideaway is probably the best track from Tour, which Nintendo considers it a new track for 8, which is fine, but it did come out on Tour first, which I just think is weird they didn't save it. So I'm gonna say it's from Tour. Um, awesome layout. It feels like a fucking custom track someone made for like CTGP on Wii, because it is pretty fucking hard, like especially on 200. Holy shit. I think I did the 200cc time trial. That probably I probably wanted the Kurt Cobain myself when I did that one. Um, it visually looks great. I love watching people online fucking struggle with this track and blame the game. Nah, bro, it is a skill issue, 100%. This is a great track, and I really hope to see it return to Mario Kart 9. Even though it'd be really soon. Just a great track. All right, New York Minute. I actually think this is a pretty good track, especially since it's a city course. I think it gives it an edge because most of the city tracks are fucking horrible. Um, I don't think it's a perfect representation of New York. It looks cool, but I can't put it any higher than B, I feel like. I mean, layout wise, it's not bad, but it's not as good as an A tier, in my opinion. So I think it's going to sit here, but coming from Tor, it's a good effort. Um, this is also probably a controversial take. I actually like Mario Circuit 3. I think this is a pretty good track. 200cc, it is fucking awesome because you're flying on it. Um, again, not as good as an A tier, but for an SNES track, this is a good choice in my opinion. This is actually, I think, along with SNES Rainbow Road, the track that has appeared the most out of any other Mario Kart track. It was in what this Super? It was in Super Nintendo, Super Mario Kart, Super Circuit, Wii, and then 8 and Tours. What's that like? Fucking 5 games. So it's been around. Like this is one of the most common tracks. I still think it holds up well, but not an A tier. All right. I used to like Calamari Desert, but now playing it, I want to kill myself. 200cc time trial. Oh my God. Doing that, it has become my most played track in the stats from this game. Fuck that ghost. I don't, dude, I don't know how kids are supposed to beat some of the DLC ghosts in this game. Holy shit. I still haven't done all of them. This made me give up pretty much. Um, but I've always liked Calamari Desert. It's good in 7, 64, but this they made it so you could drive on the track for second lap, which I think is a really good change. It spices it up, makes it more interesting. But other than that, not a lot going on. All right, we got a fucking banger. Do I want to put it S tier? I don't know. I feel like S tier is getting a little crowded because I feel like these are reserved for the best of the best. And I feel like my biggest problem with Waluigi Pinball is there's pretty much no shortcuts at all. But in terms of pure gameplay, it's great, especially with having to dodge the pinball coming down the thing, and then getting to the end on the actual pinball table. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't think it's aged as well as some of the other DS tracks, in my opinion. But it's still a great track. One of the best in the series. Sydney Sprint. I also think this can sit in B tier, which again for city tracks is impressive. They really were swinging year one for the booster course pass with some of these. Um, not. I don't think it's the best representation of Sydney, good old Aussie land, but I like how they incorporated the Opera House. There's some fun layout moments. I like the that like gray paneling shit underneath. What is it? A fucking like Metro or some shit. That's pretty neat. I really like the part where it's really simple, just that park where they have the turns that dip in a bit, and you can cut across with the mushroom. It's a good track, but I can't put it any higher than B. All right, motherfucking Snowland. Originally, I think I was going to put this A, but I think it can sit in B because the layout isn't as exciting, but it is a great fucking remake. The original version is by far one of the worst tracks ever put in the series, just because of that stupid shaking effect on the screen that makes you get fucking nauseous. Taking that out though, pretty good track underneath, looks visually pleasing, has a cool shortcut near the beginning, saves you a good amount of time. Other than that, not a lot else to say. Good fucking track. Although I'm curious as to why they released this during fucking July and didn't save it for DLC 3, but hey. Alright, Mushroom Gorge. I think it's gonna sit in A tier. I think this track's pretty fucking awesome. I'm not the biggest fan of it compared to other people, but I think it's a very fun layout. They basically took the version from 7, which I think is a better version, because they added in the glide mushroom near the end. But you can also do the fucking ultra shortcut in this, so fuck yeah. I think I had one of the top times for a while on this track, like top 50 at least globally, just because the ultra shortcuts. I'm sure I've slipped down a lot, but this track has aged pretty well, especially considering it's a Mushroom Cup track back on Wii. Good track. Yeah, I don't know. Do I want to put this in B? Now, this track bothers me too much to put in B. It is a decent layout, but I don't think it's one of the best efforts. Um, I find it bizarre that the railing on the staircase near the beginning gives you a boost. Okay, it's kind of weird. And the camera is really fucking awful for parts of the track when you're gliding down. Because this whole track is in the anti-grav mode. I think it's actually the first track from the entire DLC booster course to have any anti-gravity, but even then it doesn't utilize it as well as it could. But visually it looks great, so it can sit in C tier. All right, poor London Loop. Awesome music. I love guitar players going crazy, but otherwise this track's fucking boring. It's also in London, which I think is an L in itself. Not a lot going on. It's mostly just you're driving on the road. Um, I also feel like it's not as accurate to London as it could be because there's no acid attacks and knife attacks. Um, but yeah, it's not one of the better tracks they've added. Um, it also just looks very samey and kind of boring. All right, Boo Motherfucking Lake. This was a surprise when they added, in my opinion, but I actually think I'm gonna put an A tier for me. Just a fun layout. It's very short, but has a lot of great turns. And nice little shortcuts you can do. 200 is fucking crazy. Visually, it's also really cool. I don't have much else to add, but A tier. I it might be controversial, but hey, that's how I feel. Poor Rock Mountain. I used to like you on 7, but yeah, I don't think it's aged as well. Back then it was impressive because this was the big showcase for the gliding, if I remember correctly. But now it's just one of the tracks. It's there. I don't have much else to say. It's kind of boring. Um, I'm not the track I would have picked from 7 to bring back, but hey. Oh, yeah, we fucking love Maple Treeway, dude. This track is awesome. I used to not be the biggest fan of it, but it's grown on me a lot. Music-wise, it's fucking awesome. But again, I said I'm not gonna factor that in. Visually, it looks great. It's based on the version of 7, so there's a gliding section at the end, which some people prefer the original Wii version. I'm not too picky in particular for this one. Really fun. Has the shit, what are they? The half pipes. Maybe they were in some of the other tracks from the booster course that I forgot to mention, but nice to see them return. If uh, they were, I'll mention now. Just nice addition to the booster course. Um, I don't have much to say, man. It's motherfucking Maple Treeway. All right, Berlin Byways. I actually kind of like this track. I think it actually does a pretty good showcase. Berlin. I especially love the chunk of the Berlin Wall with I guess are they the Womps, I guess? Which also canonically means that the Iron Curtain existed in the Mario universe, and therefore World War II would have happened, which then is a whole can of worms. But I think it's a pretty good track. Nice layout. It's simple, but it's visually a lot more pleasing and also a little more exciting to play on than compared to the other city tracks. All right, Peach Gardens. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they did a great job bringing this back. If I remember correctly, it took out some of the shortcuts, which it's just an L in my opinion. It's so you probably have this Yoshi circuit in this game and how it's not entirely faithful to the GameCube version. in terms of removing content, but I like on the third lap it turns around, you go in reverse. It's a neat change, but it doesn't save the track for me. I think the DS version is still the superior version, but I think each version just gotten worse, if you ask me. Um, I can't put anything higher than C, so that's probably a controversial take there. Mary Mountain, I actually think I'm going to go B tier on this one, mainly just because the layout's fun, has some nice alternating paths, nice shortcuts, Christmas themes, that's a plus. Other than that, not a little else to say. I think if the ending ramp was more exciting, I'd put it in A, but otherwise, sit right here. All right, now we have reached peak. Like, oh, baby. This track, man, this motherfucking track. Easily the best Rainbow Road, and in my opinion, probably the best track on the series. Segment track, so there's a lot of new shit going on, but it incorporates the planets and shit along with moons. So, very, spacey vibe. But I think it does it better than the one from 8. Um, just every section is pretty memorable, fun layout. It's not as hard as some other Rainbow Roads, but it just is such an awesome journey. So S tier it is for me. If this didn't have an ultra shortcut, it'd be going to D tier. I think this is one of the base tracks from Tour, I believe. I don't know if I played it though, on Tour. Not a lot to say. It's Amsterdam. Listen, nothing personal, but fucking, oh my God, I forgot the name of the country. Fucking Dutchland, the Netherlands, that's it. Now wouldn't have been one of my picks for picking a country to represent. Nothing against the Dutch people, but come on, they're just discount Germany, and we already got Berlin byways. Um, has an underwater section, which is nice. Otherwise, not a lot going on. I think the layout's a little bit better than some of the other tour tracks like London Loop, but I can't justify putting it any higher. Riverside Park surprised me. I was very interested in seeing this one come back. Um, because it's one of the more niche ones I think from GBA that not a lot of people remember as well. But I think it looks great. I think it plays great. I really love the big turns at the end, and I like I like the inclusion of these little goofy piranha guys on the track. I think it adds a lot. None of else to say, but I quite like the track. B tier. Okay, now we're at peak again. Man, I forget how good Wii's track selection was. It's perfect. It is just genuinely perfect. I don't. It's probably been discussed to death, but fun layout. Um, Snowboarding and shit. Go up the mountain and come on down. Half pipes are awesome. Ultra shortcuts are still in. Very faithful to the Wii version. I'm glad it was included. Peak Yoshi's fucking island. Honestly, this one didn't do it for me. I still think it's a great track, and I think it's a very faithful representation of um Yoshi's Island, but I don't think it's as memorable as some of the others, and I don't think the layout is as good as it could be. But it's still a really fun track, and I enjoy playing on it when I do. Um, gonna sit at a comfy B tier. Again, B tier is like these are all pretty damn good tracks, but they don't quite reach what I consider A tier, in my opinion. Again, these are my opinions, and therefore they're the correct opinions. So if you disagree, fuck you. No, in all seriousness, my opinion. Um, Bangkok Rush surprised me because I think most of the city tracks of tour are pretty underwhelming, but this is the first city track to reach this high on the list. It's fun. Has some nice alternate routes, some good shortcuts. Each lap is pretty unique. I'm guessing it was added later in Tour's life cycle. Again, I did not keep up with Tour. Um, this is a great effort from the fucking phone game, so I'm very impressed with that one. A tier. Oh, we're creeping towards the end. We're getting there. Um, DS Mario Circuit. What a piece of dog shit. Listen, I get they can't add every perfect track because they need to save them for the next game, or else the next game is gonna blow some hot ass in terms of retros. But man, Mario Circuit from DS, I forgot this track was even in Mario Kart DS. Like, it's fine, it plays okay, but really, this is the track they picked. I don't know. I don't think it holds up to any of the C tier tracks. It's just kind of boring. I think there's the big funny wiggler that's walking around. That's cool, but otherwise, Not a lot going on here. Big miss in my opinion. And here's our first fucking GameCube track from the wave. Jesus, like I think it was supposed to make wave three if I remember correctly, but something fucked up and it didn't make the cut. What the fuck? All right. This is a great fucking remake. It is pretty much what you want for a remake. Same essential track, but they added in some alternate routes, and new shortcuts, new pathways, and they also I think the half pipes were in the Wii version, so they're not new, but they're still really fun. Easy A tier. I think the mud kind of looks a little weird, but that's such a nitpick. Um, Honestly, all the booster course tracks look not quite right for the most part, but I can't entirely hold that. Considering they were mostly just ported from the fucking phone game. All right, this is easily the pinnacle of city tracks from Tour. Holy shit, this feels like a fucking journey. It's just a beautiful track. Looks awesome. Each lap is really fun. There's minimal just road driving. There's a lot of fun routes going on. Just a fun layout, nice obstacles. Easiest S here. I was very impressed by this track when I first played it. Hats off to Nintendo for actually making a good tour track. And here's not a good tour track. Do I want to put this in C? Nah, fuck it. This track is boring as hell. Athens, cool place, but I feel like they did nothing with it. It's just not an exciting track. The layout's okay at best. Each lap, I couldn't even tell you what happens at each lap. It's just maybe if I played it more, I like it. But for me, it's just gotta sit in D. Yeah, I'm a Daisy Cruiser hater. I was very disappointed that this was their GameCube representation for Wave 5. Because there were very few GameCube tracks in the game. I think there's only six, which is depressing considering there's 96 tracks in this game. Um, yeah, big miss in my opinion, but it's still a good track. It's literally just a version of Mario Kart 7, which that was a good, remake compared to the GameCube version. But it's just, yeah, I don't know, man. I can't put it any higher. Probably controversial. Moonview motherfucking highway. Yeah, I was surprised when they announced this one. Admittedly, I kind of like the Wii version. We're playing it again here. I'm like, this is fucking boring. Especially because we're getting a bunch of city tracks from the DLC. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't think this one has aged that well. It's just a little boring. I think it'd be more fun if it was in reverse. Start off in the city and then end up in the country. Because I feel like the track goes from being kind of tricky to just piss easy. So, I don't know. I think it's just gotta sit and see. Squeaky, Squeaky Clean Sprint's one of the funniest tracks they've ever added. I think, I don't know. I like it better than most of these here. Yeah, I think I'll put it in A. Normally I wouldn't, but motherfucking shit, just move, you fucker. Okay. I think it's pretty fun. Bathroom track. It kind of reminds me of Ribbon Road, which is funny. Um, got the bathtub, got the toilet, got the sink. You drive all around that bitch. It's pretty fun. Has some nice obstacles. One of the better like new tracks and air quotes that they added. Motherfucking LA Labs. I don't know. Maybe I could put this in B, but I don't know. I feel like aesthetically it's kind of ugly, unfortunately, which I guess is fair representation of LA, but still, you go from the beach and shit, and then you end up at fucking oil derricks and then drive through the most boof ass town you've ever seen. It's like, yeah, this is definitely LA, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a bit of a miss. Could have been better. So I think C is a comfy spot for it. And man, they fucked up Sunset Wilds. Mainly just because the sun doesn't go down more each lap. I think is a miss. It's one of the standout things, the most memorable parts from the original track. It sets it apart from the other GBAs. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed after the other GBA tracks we've got in this game that this is what I think was the last one, right? Yeah, it's the last one. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad it's here, but not as good as I remember. Koopa fucking Cape. Controversial B tier. They used the Mario Kart 7 version, and that version fucking sucks compared to the original because they took out the fun, fast section underwater for instead just the pure underwater part. I mean, it's still a good track underneath everything. Like I enjoy playing on it, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think they kind of missed with this one. Still enjoy it, but I don't know. I don't care for it. Vancouver Velocity, yeah, let's release this one during summer, bros. I mean, it's fine. It's cool seeing Vancouver is actually a pretty interesting city, and I think it does a decent job of showing off. Very Canadian, but does it really do anything all that interesting? I don't know. I kind of like the hockey arena. That was kind of neat, but other than that, not a lot going on. I don't know. I just think this again. Most of the tour tracks are kind of boring. Not a lot going on. All right, here we are, Wave 6. Roma Vanti fucking sucks. This track is boring as hell. I like the visuals, but other than that, man, I don't remember a damn thing about this track. I mean, I should go play it again, but it's just like if it didn't leave any lasting impression on me at all whatsoever, I can't even put it in C tier. I mean, you drive through the Coliseum, that's kind of cool, but other than that, not a lot going on. Complete, complete 180 from that. Oh, baby, I'm so glad. People want a Dino Dino Jungle. Fuck Dino Dino Jungle. That track's actually pretty good, but DK Mountain's better. I am so happy that this is the last GameCube pick they got. Um, Perfect track. Ultra Shortcut's still in. Um, could look a little better visually, but you know, as long as the layout's the same as the original, which it is, super fun. And again, Ultra Shortcut. I fucking love that shit. S tier. Man, why the fuck did they pick Cheese Circuit for the last fucking wave? Wave 6, in my opinion, is not one of the best. I think is actually one of the weaker ones. Definitely bottom three. Um, Daisy Circuit contributes to that. We have so many city tracks, and again, they pick another city track. At least it's, a classic from Wii. It's still fun, but layout-wise, not a lot going on. Front of Plant Cove. Was very disappointed with this one because I had heard good things that people like this is one of the best tour tracks they put out. Yeah, I don't know, man. This shit was boring as hell. Just way too wide, not a lot of obstacles, not much going on. There wasn't really any clutter on the outside to make it feel lived in. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be out in the sea, but man, it was just not very exciting. So I can't put it any higher. I just can't do it. Madrid, man, they really missed with the tour tracks from Wave 6. Do I want to put it C? I'm going to put it C, but it's not a great track. It's just very boring again. I think this was added maybe last year to tour, 2 years ago. Fuck, actually, it might be coming out this year. I can't remember, but just a miss. I just don't think they did it as good of a job as they could have. Very boring track. I can't remember anything from it. It's a city track. This is one of the most baffling picks they've ever done for the Music Wars Path. This is one of the weaker tracks from 7, and admittedly, 7's Nitro tracks are really good, but I'm just like, really? Rosalina's Ice World? At least it's getting cold now, so I guess it feels a bit appropriate, but it's the exact same version as 7. I think there's one more shortcut at the end they added, which is fine, but it's nothing substantial. I mean, it's cool, it's based on Mario Galaxy, it's cool Rosalina gets a track, but I don't know. Other than that, the layout's not very fun after the underwater section, in my opinion. Just driving through the ice cave is kind of boring. But I like it better than the sea tier tracks. So it's got to go B. Man, you can tell how much I love this Ice World, man. Oh, Christ. All right. One of the biggest surprises, we got one more SNES track. So out of 96 tracks in the game, four of them are from Super Mario Kart, which I just think is baffling. I would have hoped at least six minimum, because there's some. I don't think we've ever gotten a Vanilla Lake on a home game. I know it's on the tour, but something like that, it would have been fun. Yeah, they really went all out with this. A lot of verticality added. And aesthetically, it looks pretty cool. Big fire sea. It's the only Bowser's Castle we got the entire Booster Course Pass. So I'm glad it's here, but I don't know. I just feel like the SNES wasn't as represented as well. I'm getting a little sidetracked, but I think it was B. I don't think I can put it any higher because other than that, I think there's some thwomps, which are kind of cool, but that's about it. Not a lot of obstacles, but the layout's good. And here we fucking go, the absolute last track, 96 fucking courses. This was a no-brainer for Nintendo to do. Anyone that think they weren't going to put it in, they're a dumbass. It's one of the finest rainbow roads out there. Very challenging. I always get my ass kicked on it when I was playing it, which is a surprise because again, I'm pretty fucking good at Mario Kart. Just to be honest. So I was baffled. I'm like, wow, this track's actually kind of trickier than I remember. Just a great fucking send off to the Booster Course Pass. One more Rainbow Road. Um, really happy with this pick, and I think it has aged very well. One of the finest Rainbow Roads. Yeah, the Booster Course Pass was awesome, and this is a nice way to end it off. It's pretty much perfect as a track. Aesthetically, I think they kept in the funny thing you sort of fucking burn to death when you fall. That was pretty funny. Um, so very faithful to the original, and I don't think there's a lot of major changes. It's perfect. It's great. All right, I've been talking for probably the better part of an hour, but this is my list. Um, could be controversial. I'm sure it is, but as someone who's number one in the world at Mario Kart 8, I think this is a pretty good list. I think most of these picks are pretty reasonable. Um, Again, most of these tracks centered around B and C tier. There were a lot of A tiers compared to when I've done this list in the past, but C and B, these generally tracks want to be in this area. Like anything up from C is good. D and below, yeah, these tracks are fucking dog water. I am fucking done talking. If you're watching this, fuck you. Mario Kart for life. See ya.